C-130 relief plane. Just one of these big cargo planes carrying transport and drugs and food, he said, would save thousands of lives. But why, I asked, could not the International Red Cross supply one such plane itself? Because, he said, my directors in Geneva are still considering the overall framework of a plan of relief for Cambodia. Look, he said, this is Southeast Asia. There are politics involved, you know. What he meant to say was that the United Nations, Britain included, still recognizes the defeated, murderous regime of the Khmer Rouge. And it's difficult to get official help for a people whose new government still does not diplomatically exist. In other words, 3 million people are beginning to starve to death in Cambodia, and the International Red Cross and the relief agencies and governments are doing virtually nothing because the new leaders of this country have yet to be recognized, to be approved of. Of course, if you're in Geneva or New York or London, you can't hear the screams of the little boy I mentioned. This is Khieu Samphan, aged 10. His parents are dead. He was found starving on a rubbish tip. On the day we filmed him, he desperately needed penicillin and milk, of which there was none in this hospital. We came back to see him the next day, and he was dead. During the time of our filming, there were only 2 Western doctors who had come to Cambodia to help. Doctors, in this hospital, we seem to be surrounded by every problem imaginable. Where do we start?
The big problem here in Cambodia today is the malnutrition of all the populations, and especially of the children.
I mean, how serious is that? Does it affect a majority of the children? Or?
Oh, yes, majority of
this little girl, she seems to be in a terrible state.
There are 2 children with advanced malnutrition, a big abdomen and very thin limbs. On sait son âge?
Quel âge?
Quel âge elle a?
Quel âge elle a? Un an.
1 month.
1 year.
1 year. 1 year.
I think it's a terrible problem because this population has been submitted during 4 years to a regime of very poor nutrition and very hard work, and the results are here. The psychological conditions were terrible also. The families were systematically separated. There was no possibility of any health care.
What's wrong with this little boy?
It's a typical malnutrition with also skin disease on the whole of the body.
How old is he?
He is 12 years old.
He's 12?
Mm-hmm.
This little boy is literally skin and bone. What can you do to save him? Can you save him?
Yes, it's possible, but also probably this boy had some other disease, and it's necessary to perform examination with a laboratory and X-ray examination in order to precise this other disease.
Yes. But all the modern equipment in this hospital was destroyed by the Khmer Rouge, who banned all forms of modern medicine and razed to the ground 30 hospitals and clinics. There were 550 doctors in Cambodia. 48 survived.
There is no Cambodia which is not ill. No Cambodia, with all the degree of disease.
It is actually a real emergency. It's a real emergency to get food and to get drugs, to feed first and to treat all this sick population.
Children and also adults are dying of inadmissible disease for our time. Inadmissible. Here there are millions of people. We are in the same situation of the refugee.
Are you saying that because of the West's attitude towards the boat people refugees, then they are not allowing aid to come through to Cambodia?
Yes. It is in the same way that the cut-off of the expeditions of milk to Vietnam, the lack of assistance to the Cambodian is in the same way. It's clearly, yeah. Yeah.
The European Economic Community has suppressed recently the food assistance to Vietnam,
Yes.
and I think it's the same thing.
An unimaginable situation is that the Vietnamese, which is in a very difficult situation at the alimentation level and at the medical level, give some drugs and some food to this country.
This is a food convoy from Vietnam, Cambodia's only guaranteed lifeline. Vietnam, although itself facing famine after 30 years of war, has sent more than 25,000 tons of food to Cambodia. The Vietnamese have managed to do this by asking every family in their southwestern provinces to give 6 pounds of rice. By contrast, Western governments have sent only a dribble of aid. The major agencies, the International Red Cross and UNICEF, have demanded strings to their proposed charity, such as the right to supply what they call the other side. Western observers who have crossed the Thai border into Cambodia have seen what this means in reality. It means feeding not civilians, not women and children, but supplying what is left of Pol Pot's army of genocide. For this privilege, the agencies have withheld aid from 90% of the Cambodian people. Supplying the Khmer Rouge is in line with the West's diplomatic support for Pol Pot. Last month, the United Nations General Assembly was witness to the extraordinary spectacle of the Western democracies, America and